Namaskaram. Welcome back to the Ask Nish series, and today's question is by Atish from Bangalore. Um, when you are the trainer or you're the mentor, and there are a lot of people that are dependent on you because you're training a lot of people, and all of a sudden it gets very suffocating because all of a sudden they are bombarding you with questions, they're taking up your private time, they're taking up all of your resources. So, what should I do? How should I make people less dependent on me? Or is that even a possibility? How should I go about uh, in such a scenario? That is the questions. So this can happen in a training situation. It can happen with friends also. They can become overly dependent. It can happen with clients. It can happen in any sort of relationships. So for any type of situation like this where you're the boss and they're employees, or say you are taking on a lead role and they're dependent on you for whatever reason, your capacity, your skills, and whatever, you have to make sure that the foundation starts with you making them independent. That should be the premise. Before you start any activity, you need to make sure that the activity focus should be to make them independent. If not, it won't work, right? Because you should never be the center of the system to work. A system should work by itself. So you should create a system, you should create the culture, and you should create a group that can actually interact with each other, they can depend on each other, and they can rely on each other. So, it's a fancy idea for people to think that you can be completely independent. That's not true. This body actually comes from soil, so we depend on the soil. Soil depends on the microbes. Microbes depend on the organic content. Organic content comes from the manure. We are all linked together. We are always dependent as long as we are on this planet. So just understand and accept that dependency is the primary source and foundation of life on earth. There's no other way to be. But how do you minimize it? You make sure that you create systems and cultures in place so that you don't create over dependence of people on you or others. Understand that you should create a certain reliability for people. That means they could rely on you. That means you're providing a sort of a faith that if something were to happen, they can rely on you. But they should not be dependent on you that, for every little thing, they need you. So that is the subtle difference between the dependency and reliability. There are places where dependency is needed. For example, military. So dependency is needed because you are trying to create a certain discipline in military. So this is absolutely needed. But for most of the regular activity, 98%, 99% of the activity, we don't need that. And if you do want to be dependable, that's a great sadhana you can take on. Please do it, actually. If you want to be that dependable person, it will be a lifelong sadhana, and you will grow immensely. If that's not what you're aspiring for, don't do it. So everything depends on the purpose. Okay. I hope this answered your questions. If you have any further questions, please do ask. I'm trying to keep this video short. Until then, thank you very much. Namaskaram.